So this corruption of science, what's their motive?
Well, it goes back to 1972 and the formation of the United Nations Environmental Program by the UN. And Maurice Strong, a Canadian billionaire, was appointed as its first Secretary General. And they've been corrupting the science ever since. And the purpose, it seems to be, is to get nations to cede their sovereignty to the UN's treaties. And then the UN, and these clauses were exposed by Moncton in the Copenhagen Draft Treaty. These clauses then give access a control over a nation's sovereignty in terms of its energy use, its finances, and also, well, its plain sovereignty. That means the countries have to bow down to the UN's provisions. So it's about control. That's all it is. It's about control. And they're doing anything they can to corrupt the science to get that control. Once we sign up for the treaty, then that's it.
And that control is in fact going to result, as far as so-called Western nations are concerned, as decreased levels of production, increased levels of poverty, and poverty, of course, leading to pollution.
Absolutely correct. Worse than that is that the poor have the least ability to defend themselves against this. We're talking about the people in Africa, the people with the highest birth rates, the lowest standards of living. They're the ones who will really suffer. But the United Nations Environmental Program it's a political organisation. It's clothed in environmental terms, but it's political. It is the one that pushed for the banning of malaria, banning of DDT in the fight against malaria. 2004, sometime later, the UN's own World Health Organization condemned the ban and resumed the use of DDT. But in the meantime, James, more than 30 million people died agonizing deaths from malaria, including 20 million people estimated in Africa. And they didn't give a bugger. This is purely a political thing. It's not a humanitarian thing. And while we're wasting money on so-called chasing an ethereal trace gas, we're not spending money on fighting AIDS. We're not spending money on fighting poverty. We're not spending money on fighting the real pollution of water, groundwater, those kinds of things. 3 billion people rely upon groundwater, and the groundwater is decreasing.
So that's a very good reason to fight an increased tax, because an increased tax will just simply lead to more poverty.
Absolutely right. There is not one benefit from this tax because it's based on a scam. It's a complete scam. Kevin Rudd and Rajendra Pachauri, who's the chairman of the IPCC, ran around the country when he was Prime Minister, when Kevin was Prime Minister, saying that 4,000 scientists claim human production of carbon dioxide causes global warming. Absolute crap, because if you look at the UN's own figures, James, it's 5 reviewers endorsed that claim. 5 reviewers, not 4,000 scientists, 5 reviewers. And I've challenged, let's see, the most prominent academics who are spreading this global warming fear in this country. Flannery, you've heard of him. Caroli, Garner, Stephan, Lambert, Goldberg, England, Pittman. I've challenged them all to give me one piece of real-world evidence proving that this claim is true. Not one person has. I've also asked them for their declaration of interest. Not one person has given it to me. But they're all funded by government. I've challenged the CSIRO's chief executive, Dr. Megan Clark, and their group executive in charge of the environment. Not one has been able to give me any evidence whatsoever for this. And there is abundant evidence saying that we are not causing that and cannot cause it.
About the CSIRO, have you heard the rumours about serious government reductions in their funding?
No, I haven't, but that leads me to another point, and that is that while we're spending money on this nonsense, we are not spending money on real science. That money has to come from somewhere. It either comes out of the taxpayer's pocket or it gets diverted from other areas. So when we're spending money chasing this gas that's absolutely essential for life, we are taking it away from other areas of science, and we're corrupting the science.
Thank you very much indeed.